What's the last straw that made you go, yep, that person is definitely crazy? He accused me of having bad thoughts about him, completely out of the blue, while we were cooking together. A few days later he also said I'm at fault for ruining our friendship because he saw in my eyes that I'm thinking bad things about him. What the fuck? I had an extremely clingy friend that texted and tried to call me 50 million times a day. Well, I was having a really shitty day and I wasn't in the mood to converse with her at all and just ignored her. She called the police and told them she thought I had committed suicide. That was fun. Something similar happened to me. I was most definitely not suicidal, but the law in my state says you can either go with police willingly to be evaluated by psychiatrist at a hospital, or they will force you to go to a mental health facility for a minimum of 3 days against your will. I chose the first one because I had no choice and had to sit in a room with nothing to do for 6 hours waiting to be cleared. Meanwhile, my crazy ex-friend was calling our other friends, my boyfriend, and my own mother. She told them I was committed for being suicidal, and my mom drove 4 hours to come see me, only to realize it was all bullshit. I befriended a nurse while stuck there and explained to him what was going on. He felt really bad for me and brought me food and let me talk to my mom on the phone. Then he told me that bitches in the waiting room want me to tell her to fuck off. Those were his exact words. The cherry on top, I was charged over $1,000 for the forced ambulance ride. I know a girl who used to use post-its to keep track of shit she needed to do. She would write something like, do laundry on a post-it and put it on a refrigerator or something. Well, one day I went to her house and she had post-its everywhere. She had them on walls. Her walls were literally wallpapered with sticky notes. The fridge, throw pillows, the bathroom mirror, even in her car, where she covered all of the windows to the point of non-visibility with little to do notes. Driver's education class. Our instructor was older and more than a little off. He'd show us highway patrol videos of horrific accidents and then explain that had people simply use their blinkers and brakes, these sorts of things wouldn't happen. He was also very aggressive when riding shotgun in the training car, taking no issue with slamming on brakes in the middle of an intersection to prove a point. But he became officially cray-cray when, during a lecture, he asked why we shouldn't pass between two freight trucks on the interstate. We all answered things like blind spots, lane shifts, etc., and he actually got mad we didn't know the real answer. Eisenhower. He designed the whole interstate system so that parts of it could be used as runways during times of war. Do you think you could see a plane landing on the highway if you were between two semi-trucks? No, you couldn't. You'd just get crushed by the landing gear of the plane. And chances are, you'd cause the deaths of everyone aboard that aircraft as well. Needless to say, crazy. And I still look up when passing between two semi-trucks. When my neighbor insisted that my husband and I flew to the US to have a baby, every day when my husband would come home from work she would stop him and tell him that she heard me in the apartment with the baby all day and would ask how our daughter was. We have no children, and I have never even been pregnant before. He would always correct her, but she was adamant that we had a baby girl and that she heard me with her all the time. I already tried to stay away from this neighbor as much as possible, but now it was an avoid at all costs thing. My best friend in high school was always a little crazy, but I quit being friends with her when her and her boyfriend broke up, and she literally stabbed a knife in her leg and went to the hospital just for his attention. Looking very upset, I dreamed of my deceased father last night. Me, oh well, so how did it go? Don't you know that when a girl dreams of her deceased father that means that my partner is cheating on me? Why did you do it? I trusted you. Sobbing starts. Me, yep, you're the poster girl for don't stick your dick in crazy. That's a dream symbolism I've never heard of. My ex accused me of cheating on him too, but also had dreams of me being pregnant and whatnot. Within 6 months, my now ex husband got kicked out of the Air Force, got 6 facial piercings, got and then lost a job at a gas station, became addicted to heroin, and decided he wanted to run away and become an artist so he could find himself. dropped him like a hot potato. When my mother, a 40-year smoker who has watched her sister and ex-husband die of cancer and has 2 brothers currently with cancer all who were lifelong smokers, told me, "I don't believe cigarettes cause cancer, it's all a conspiracy." Yep, you crazy, mom. OMG. This one really hits home. My mother has been smoking for like 50 years. A few years back she gets diagnosed with cancer. Swears up and down she doesn't know how she got it, and every time I say it's the cigarettes she'll look at me and say, "You think so?" while inhaling a damn cigarette. My brother started dating this girl, and I thought she was a little clingy and insecure, but I chalked it up to being a little nervous around her new boyfriend's family. However, she had been with my brother for less than 6 months when I got engaged. In a conversation about wedding dates, I said I wanted to get married in October. She immediately got upset and started crying to my brother. She didn't want me to steal her dream wedding date, and she told me that the entire month of October was off limits. She expected my brother to propose to her and they'd get married that year. Yep, she cray. Luckily my brother eventually realized she was a little unhinged and dumped her ass, and I had my wedding in October. Take that, bitch. When I forgot to text her for one day and she had a full-blown mental breakdown, and I got a call from her mother telling me that I needed to come home because she's in the hospital after trying to kill herself. And before you say it probably wasn't because of you. How could you be so self-indulged that you would think someone would do that because of you? She told me it was specifically because of you. Now whether or not I believe that's true is one thing, but the fact that she pinned her mental illnesses on me and said that I was the cause of everything was when I knew I should distance myself. There'd been a few instances before where my grandma had done a few bizarre things that made me think she was somewhat crazy. The one that confirmed it was when I was at my sister's wedding as a groomsman and she snuck up behind me and pulled my pants down in front of everyone. My brother's ex-wife once went batshit, screaming and yelling, threatening to set her hair on fire and cut herself because her own baby was getting more attention than her. We had to have a sit down with my sister-in-law about her attention seeking when my daughter was born. My daughter was the first baby in their family and people were pretty excited, but she couldn't handle it and would make a scene every time it came up. Nothing like lighting things on fire, but obvious and sad. So, I was friends with this girl in high school who was a grade above me, and I thought she was so cool. She had these amazing stories of things that happened in her life. After a few years, I started to wonder if she was lying. There were little things I'd catch her in. I started to think she might be a compulsive law, and then one day I knew when we had a conversation in the mall parking lot. We parked, got out, and began walking to the building. Here's the conversation that followed. Me, I like your outfit. Where'd you get those shoes? Huh, they're my roommates. We had a party at our house and someone stole all my shoes. Me, oh, that's terrible, I'm sorry. Huh, haha, yeah. Where'd you get your outfit? Me, blah 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 hookers. Huh, I love that store. I got my shirt at, who cares? And these shoes are my roommates. We took all my shoes to a bar when we were out drinking and gave them away. Me, okay. Then we keep walking, and as we get to the door, let's go into Wet Seal first. That's where I bought these boots. This whole conversation happened as we walked to the mall and her story changed 3 fucking times. And she definitely was not fucking with me. Sort of friends with this girl I worked with. She loved that people confused us and would try to copy or one-up me all the time. We started our jobs in the same department on the same day, so we trained together. I was engaged and the wedding was within a month of our start date. She eventually convinced her mentally crazy boyfriend. I met him. He definitely had major issues due to his twin dying in a car crash, to get married, just so she could talk about the planning and the stuff people asked me about. After I left that position to a better one, she quickly got pregnant, gave birth, then had a divorce. She just wanted to be the one in the office that everyone talked about. She definitely was when she was fired for incompetence. I was at a Halloween party several years ago with a secondary/tertiary friend group. You know the kind. I was kinda friends with some of them, only barely knew others. But it was a costume party and I didn't have anywhere else to be, so I went. There was a guy who was near to the center of said group that was always a little fucky. Everyone called him Prison his name, because he had been to prison. I had run into him a few years before, when I was maybe 14, and he offered me $20 to show him my tits. He was at least 20 at that time. Real class act. Well, during the party he pulls out a loaded fucking gun and starts waving it around saying he could end it all right there or some shit. 2 guys managed to get it from him. Now he's pissed and running around the house yelling. A 3rd guy steps in and decides to break down the gun. So like one guy has all the bullets and one guy gets the actual gun. Someone else took the clip. No one else reacted. They were just like, well, typical prison name behavior. So that's the day I decided that entire circle was batshit crazy. When she literally tried to break my wrist at a party for not high-fiving her. Alcohol is like a steroid for crazy. Wrist hurts just thinking about it. I think she did jiu-jitsu or something because damn. Bow. To get nothing, you can join my Discord. There is a link in the description. Have a great day.